Hey guys, I'm back. A bit more mining content. First, a bit of an update. The farm's running again. It was down for about 2 days. I didn't really have time to fiddle with it then, but I subsequently did, and I'm back running. I'll talk about what I'm mining and the hows and the whys, a bit about what changed over the past few days after the merge. But first, an update regarding my previous video. I asked you guys what I should mine, and I wasn't asking what was most profitable. Of course, nothing's really profitable. As far as I'm concerned, I'm making these videos for you guys, right? And I want to know, what do you want to see? Is there some weird, stupid coin that you want to see run on the A2000s, on 3070s? You want to do head-to-head comparison? I don't know. But most people just suggested coins that they were running or they thought had a chance of becoming profitable. I'm not really worried about profitability because right now it's bad on everything. And it's sort of one of those situations where the profitability today could, in hindsight, end up being phenomenal. But of course, that will only happen if you get good yield and in time the value shoots up on the coin. So yeah, that's a long-term approach. I think it's unreasonable for most people to do that because if your electric rate, we got more subscribers. If your electric rate is a little too high, then I don't think that's the way to go. I don't think you should be mining if you have more than 8 cents a kilowatt hour electric. But of course, if you can find something that's profitable at your electric rate, I guess why not go for it? And for some people it's a hobby, so that's cool too. But for me, I'm sort of doing it as a bit of a hobby, a bit of a technical challenge because I think it's cool, interesting. And well, I do genuinely want to make interesting content for you guys to hopefully help you out. And I like the idea of helping people become more profitable and efficient. And a lot of people are doing it, but I try to do videos that either other people aren't doing, haven't done, or I could do better. So that's sort of why I'm not really doing content like everybody else directly, because I don't think it adds a lot of value. There's better videos that you can watch from Seb or Bitsby Tripping or whatever, the big YouTube miners out there. And they do a better job than I do, so just go watch them. In fact, there's some interesting ones, I'll link them up here, talking about the current trends in the industry and stuff like that. But back to my farm and my plans and what's happening and things like that. So these guys are running, yet again, I'm running Caspa on these A2000s, and the efficiency is phenomenal. Somebody in my last video suggested Caspa, and I tried it actually on a 3070, and the profitability was not good, and I didn't really like the way it loaded the card. It didn't seem to use the hardware that well. Now, by comparison, on these A2000s, Caspa runs phenomenal on these guys, and it seems to be the perfect combination that leverages the hardware very well. You get very good efficiency, sort of the best profitability I could find, and it seems to be the right combination of all the attributes so that for these cards, at least for now, it's the right coin. And I'm getting about 2.5 gigahash, a little up and down on the different rigs. This is tuned for peak efficiency, not peak hash. I could get more than that, but the efficiency just goes down and down and down. And since these all 50 are doing about $5 a day right now on Caspa, and they cost me around $3 an electric at my about 4.5, 5 cents a kilowatt hour, yeah, profitability is pretty poor, so I'm not going to run them hard to try to get more hash rate out of them. But a little high humidity right now. Now that there's not as much heat in here, humidity is a little harder to control. But yeah, pretty low power. You can see the current 21 and 18 amps. The voltage is pretty high. But pretty low power on these guys. Great efficiency, and I have the fans running really slow. I even shorted out the PWM pin on this CPU fan so it runs at minimum speed. Right, I made a little jumper. You don't short it on the motherboard, you short it on the fan side. And that forces the fan to run at minimum speed. Some fans will actually stop, but on these Intel stock coolers, they have them programmed pretty well and they're running at 1,000 RPM, which is pretty slow. And I really barely need a fan at all on these, but it saves about 1.5 watts versus running at 100%, because these boards don't actually let you control the fan speed directly. So I did that janky mod, and I'll subsequently do it on these as well, to save all of 3, 4, 5 watts or whatever it is on these, because at this point every penny matters, right? And on these guys, I'm actually running ETHW because profitability shot up, and well, I don't really like the coin, but it's so easy to run because I had the rigs already tuned, of course, on ETH. So for like my mixed rig, where you got to deal with various voltages and clocks and stuff like that on the AMD cards, and there's a bunch of different cards to tune, it's a lot of work, I've found, to try to tune these rigs on various coins. Some algos are so much more difficult to tune than Ethereum. Ethereum, you pretty much find the clock speed that you get good hash at. You keep bumping the memory frequency until it's not stable anymore. Like, that's pretty much it. And on the AMD cards, you figure out how low you can get the voltages. But on some of these others, it's really a lot more complicated than that. I'm running into issues with power supplies being the limitation on DAG generation when these guys first fire up. On some coins, they consume really peaky power, like the instantaneous response of these cards right on DAG generation. It'll overshoot the power limit really hard. And these have a really high power limit for 3070s. So it's actually an issue because I only have 1500 watts of power supply on it. And these will put out maybe 2000 before they trip OCP. But what happens is, since these boards are powered by the same 12 volts, the voltage just plummets, right? And the board actually seems to get unstable. Curiously, it doesn't crash, but I get weird errors, and then the thing will sit there for a while, and sometimes I get blue screens. It'll always be like a memory thing or some sort of GPU code or something. But I get weird instabilities on these rigs on some algorithms because the cards aren't obeying the power limit, which is kind of weird. If I force a lock clock speed, I could get a lot of them to work fine. And oddly enough, on algos like Raven, where it's known for taking a lot of power, these cards run great actually on Raven, as is configured with this power supply. But on some algos, these things are a mess, and I had a hard time getting them stable and tuning them. So yeah, that was kind of the dilemma. I wasn't too enthusiastic about tuning these cards, putting the effort and time in to make $1 a day when it really didn't provide you guys with any value. So yeah, anyways, I'm running ETHW on these because it's so easy, but you know, the tuning is the same as it was before, like I mentioned. So yeah, pretty straightforward. I just basically copy and pasted and changed the pool and the running. Profitability is still pretty bad, but well, whatever. I'm running it for now because it is profitable and I like mining. But that leads me to a little bit of data and a question. I want to lead with the question. What do you guys want me to do? What do you think this channel and me personally is best at providing for you? Do you want me to keep making random videos, pointing at things and talking about them? Do you want me to do the content I was doing before, where I would talk about things that other channels don't do, things that people are typically have misconceptions about, things like that? I could do these videos, and in fact, I'd like to do them. I have a big list still. Trouble is, in the current economy and market, I don't think a lot of people will get a lot of value out of it, so I'm kind of reluctant to bother doing them now, because I think I'm more likely to be able to do a better video in the future, and it's more likely to be more popular and more relevant in the future. Because on YouTube, if you do a video, it doesn't get a lot of views, it just kind of dies. And even if it doesn't get a lot of views, usually it really tapers fast on YouTube. And in a year, or whatever, 6, 12, 24 months, the videos really, they don't get pumped the same way a new video that gets popular does. So I think it has more value for me to do the video later when it's more relevant, and then if there are changes, I can adapt to those changes. So I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you think the best thing is? What do you want me to do? What do you want to see me do? Because I can do a lot. I have plenty of videos I'd like to do, I'd be willing to do, and I want to stay around. I want to keep mining, and I want to make videos for you guys out there that are still stubborn enough to stay around, even though mining profitability is crap. But yeah, maybe you guys aren't mining, you just like watch me pointing and rambling about things. I don't know. You let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate it, but I appreciate you guys out there sticking around through the tough times. Anyways, on to some numbers, some data. There was a guy on the internet. He published a thing on Reddit. Let me pull it up here. Yeah, RX Brad, and he's got some data, which is interesting. I thought this was a bit strange. I expected a bit more of a plummet, but this is the price on eBay for a 3070 and the number sold. Curiously, you can look at the days here, so this is a few days ago. This is the few days after the merge. The price really hasn't changed. It went down, sort of, but not really. We're talking $10, $15, $20. I really don't think that's that a lot. It's a $15 reduction in the sale price from where we are to where we were, I think that's shocking to me. And the volume hasn't changed a whole lot. So people really aren't just dumping cards on eBay at ridiculous prices. And that's curious, because it means a lot of people are sitting on hardware. You look elsewhere. Here's the mining power, the hash rate, cumulatively, before the merge, after. All of this is gone. It's not mining. So it disappeared from the various networks. Or at least this guy didn't see it, because maybe, I don't know, maybe the coin was so small. But either way, it's kind of insignificant if the coin was that small to not be on this chart. So you can look at here, Ethereum obviously had a huge portion, 91%. And well, now we're at 67% or so, approximately, not mining. And you look at the changes in the share. Ethereum Classic soaked up a lot, Raven Coin. Ethereum POW kind of, sort of, I guess it's a lot of Casper, Ergo, Flux, so yeah, I mean, basically all the leaders on what to mine. But a lot of people aren't mining. That's both sort of good and bad. Here's it is basically over time and a different way to look at it. But what this data means is all these people not mining, well, they still exist. The cards still exist. They're not getting dumped on eBay just yet. So a lot of them probably are people that are waiting. They're hopeful. And they don't want to just liquidate the cards. But what that would mean is if something does become profitable, like ETHW recently shot up in value, and profitability as a result kind of sort of got like vaguely decent compared to the other coins. And a lot of people jumped on the ETHW network. And of course, hash rate went up, difficulty went up, profitability went down. But because of all that hash rate not on the network, I think we're going to see a lot more than that. And I think it's sort of misleading when you look at the profitability, because there's so many people sitting and waiting to jump on the new thing. So if something does shoot up in profitability, it'll soon collapse until it gets so much more profitable that it could absorb all those people that got lost from Ethereum. And well, I guess to some extent, one hopeful thing is maybe a new algorithm will come out that changes things a little bit, that gives some people advantage over on others and makes some cards redundant or useless. I mean, maybe that'll help make some people profitable, but yeah, I don't know if that's really necessarily a positive way to look at it. Either way, it looks like it's going to take a lot for a coin to shoot up in profitability and actually be an Ethereum replacement. Because of course, miners don't make a coin profitable. They don't really have a lot of control. All they do is they make the coin. The coin is worthless without people willing to buy it. And if a lot of people are dumping it, nobody's buying it, the value goes down. If more people want to buy it than want to sell it, the value goes up, right? It's basically, there isn't really a true value to a coin necessarily. It's what somebody's willing to pay for it. So you only really truly know after you sell what the value was. And as long as there's enough sales, enough transactions, then the value is quite predictable. But and so many of these coins are so small, if the value goes up, it could be kind of sort of fake, because the transaction volume is so low and there's so many people out there waiting, willing, then the value going up could kind of sort of almost be irrelevant, because it could kind of sort of give you false hope, but the volume actually being so low means that it just collapses the moment a handful of miners show up, right? Because you can imagine if all this hash rate just went to any one of these coins, well, they would collapse. The reason why they're not on those coins is because the profitability is so bad. But if the profitability did go up, well, the coin would get a lot of more hash rate, and well, the profitability would shoot right back down. So it seems like where we are right now, there's a lot of stubborn people still on the network, kind of like me, that like mining, have very cheap or free electric, and are just running through anything, hoping, I don't know, hoping beyond hope that maybe one day it'll be worth something. But if you're out there and you have cheap enough electric, I mean, I guess if you like it, why not? But I think there's probably a lot of people still left that shouldn't be mining because they're not profitable, but they are anyways. They're mining just because they want to, they're stubborn, they like it, they're chasing that yield or something. But if it's cheaper for you to just buy the coin, well, you should do that. It doesn't make any sense. And yeah, there's a lot of people that looked at the numbers, and of course, selling your cards and buying coin is honestly not a bad approach, depends on your end goal, I suppose, and you should be asking yourself these questions, because the resale value is shockingly not bad. So if you bought the cards long enough ago that they don't really cost you a whole lot, or they paid themselves off, maybe if you're in it for the long haul, keep them, let them sit, go for it. I don't think that's really an issue. But if you're the kind of person that really needs that profit, I would just sell them. I don't think it's going to get any better in the short term, but either way, I'm sticking around. I'm not selling my cards. I'm going to keep on mining. I have sort of the best conditions possible, almost. I have cheap electric. You know, it's a little under 5 cents a kilowatt hour typically, although it does fluctuate. So, and I don't know until after the fact. So yeah, I'm trying to be a bit more conservative in my consumption because I don't want to be in the red if I can help it. But I do want to keep making mining content. I think mine's cool, like I said. So if you guys got any ideas or suggestions for me, I'm totally open for it. But I think I'll probably do a little showdown between, I think, Frog Coin and Meow Coin or something on one of these rigs. Somebody suggested that on my last video. I thought it was a pretty cool idea. But yeah, I'm not chasing profits directly. I'm not looking for the profits out of these cards to make a buck, because they're making like literally $1 a day. So it's, you know, the entire farm makes like $5, maybe $10 on a really good day. So it's not really a reasonable thing, if you ask me, to be chasing profits at this small of a scale, because it doesn't really pay. The time I invest into the thing is worth more than the $5 or so. So it depends on where you are, where you want to be, and all that sort of deal. But I still want to keep mining, but I'm shooting for efficiency. And I guess at this point, just mining fun coins, interest coins, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know, but until next time.